In fact, Buddha came up with this wonderful thing, right? Generally, what happens is in psychology and psychiatry and psychoanalysis, we focus on thoughts. Each of us have 10,000s of thoughts, right? So think this one, think that way, right? But then, do thoughts produce emotions or do emotions produce thoughts? So good, all of you are thinking. So we have this hierarchy, right? Thoughts, emotions. I hope you're able to see here. So thoughts, emotions, feelings. Are they all same? No, that we are clear, right? Does one cause the other? Yes. So is it okay for you to tell? Do thoughts create emotions? Yes? Okay, very good. Do emotions create thoughts? Yes? Very good. Both are true. But more often than not, it's triggered because of the thoughts. And then it's a cycle that happens. Just because, again, that is because of the energy. We talked about it, right? So where your attention goes, energy flows. When you are in a state of anger, right? Everything that something else could be normal to some person, but because you are in that driven by anger, something did normally also will make you feel angry, right? Same thing with sadness, right? You are sad and someone tells you something normally, you'll become even more sad, right? So thoughts and emotions. So emotions are basically this, right? This one, all of us are clear, right? Anything to do with fear, grief, guilt, sadness, despair, anger, doubt, jealousy, frustration. So how do all these show up? So these all show up through some reaction by us, right? And usually that reaction is triggered by the body. Either you shout loud, or you show your face like this, or you act differently, your voice goes up, whatever it is, right? So there is that action that happens. So usually that emotion is a function of body. Right? That emotions, that anyone who's feeling angry will almost exhibit the same pattern, right? Physiologically also it is the same thing. Like I said, your heart rate goes up, your blood pressure goes up, and your muscles get tensed. So all that happens anytime someone is angry, right? Similarly, anytime someone feels sad, very similar things happen, right? So emotion is more about the body. So emotion is also referred to as energy in motion. Right, so it basically our energy. So energy in motion, right? If energy is circulating more on our lower chakras, it's more about guilt, shame, sadness, anger, jealousy, resentment, and all that. Whereas uplifting emotions, love, compassion, everything, you feel more of heart. When you immediately talk about love, which is the organ all of us refer to? Love, compassion. Is it here? No, it's here. So we always know that we feel something there. Right? So immediately, similarly, someone, even compassion is more also something to do with throat chakra, right? You are more compassionate. Immediately when you say someone is intelligent, oh, he's wonderful intelligent, what do we say? Immediately think head or brain, right? So he's a brainy guy. But later research now has showed there are neurons and nerve cells across your body, not just the brain. Intelligence is embedded across your body. Right? They've done some studies on brain-dead people, right? People who have undergone accidents and they had to remove parts of those brain that contribute to intelligence were damaged. But in spite of that, there were different parts of the body that were growing. That means that particular part of the body had those electromagnetic field and intelligence. So usually most of the emotions are related to the body, right? Feelings. What are feelings? What are the fundamental types of feelings? So usually there's a very thin difference between feelings and emotion, right? And usually feelings of the mind. So Buddha, if you saw the earlier slide, I talked about as feeling tone. There is something called feeling tone. So feeling tone is always about, there are only three. Pleasant, unpleasant, or neutral. That is all. Good, bad, and neutral. Anything happens, you feel good, or you feel bad, or you're not bothered by it. That is all ultimately underlying, right? So what Buddha said was so before that, for any emotion, right? For example, anger is an emotion, all of us agree? Anger is an emotion, right? And does anger have only a certain amount of thoughts related to it? Are there only this thought is what causes me anger, this thought is what causes me anger? How many thoughts can make you angry? Any number, right? My daughter is smiling. So I could feel angry because of something my daughter did or daughters did. When both of them are together, then there's a lot more opportunity for getting angry. So it could be anything that the kids do, it could be anything that your parents do, it could be anything that your spouses do, it could be anything that your roommate did today or yesterday, right? Or it could be anything that be at work, right? Unnecessary. So there could be a million thoughts that can cause the same emotion, right? And then similarly, there are a wide variety of emotions, right? So some learned people finally analyzed all the emotions and then figured out saying that there are the 6 basic types of emotions. In fact, Buddha categorized this as five hindrances. Even Patanjali has talked about it so happiness is a basic emotion, right? Sadness, fear, disgust, anger, and surprise. Where does love figure here? Where is compassion? 1. Yes. So each of them have their own frequency bands, right? So happy, everything. When you can't feel an outpouring of love when you are fearful, right? Like I talked about the example of fight or flight, right? Similarly, when you are sad, you can't say I am thankful for that particular opportunity, whatever it is, right? So you feel sad. Sadness is an emotion. Similarly, surprise. And coincidentally, all these have different neurochemicals that kind of get produced in our body. So we'll talk about it later. So these are the types of basic emotions, and each of these emotions can be related to millions of thoughts. Any thought can trigger these emotions, right? But ultimately, what matters to the mind or what to your physiology is whether that emotion was pleasant, good, bad, or neutral. So what Buddha is so clever. So he said, if you attack these, then all these are addressed. Right? He didn't say, okay, now I have a class to address sadness. Right? Now I have a course to address anger management, or I have a course to do something else. Right? But he said, if you address these 3, then all those emotions and thoughts are taken care of. But unfortunately, addressing these 3 is very difficult because everything that we do has one of those feeling tones, right? And that's what they call it as feeling tone, the tone of it, right? So Patanjali, in most of Yoga Sutras, he talks about colors of thoughts, right? So your thought is fine, but when that is colored with things like some of these emotions, that is when it creates karma, it creates disease to you, right? So pleasant, unpleasant, and neutral. So when we say mindfulness of feelings, all we need to do is be mindful of the feeling because of that thought or because of that emotion, right? So suppose you're listening to my class. The AC is probably cooler, I don't know. Sometimes the AC is turned on very cold, right? So what happens? What do you feel? So you feel cold. Right? So cold is an emotion. Basically, then immediately what happens? There's a lot of thoughts triggered. Why can't they have automatically controlled AC here? Or why didn't I not come in front? Next time I should come and sit in the front where there's no AC. Right? And then you start sitting there. Okay, let me sit for some time. Then you start getting fearful. Okay, I might get cold. I'm not able to hear properly. Whatever it is. So all those all those thoughts and emotions keep coming. That is because what is the feeling here? Because it's unpleasant, right? Same thing if it is pleasant, right? So a lot of us get into those meditation experiences as well. Or you probably are listening to the class. Let me think I am a superlative teacher and you are liking all I talk. So immediately you start, oh, this class is so wonderful, right? So what happens? What is your feeling? Here, right? So in the first part, you are unpleasant. Basically, it was a bad feeling. And the second example, it is a good feeling. Oh, wow, I want to listen to all the masters in Pyramid Valley. Right? Their classes are so fantastic. Which is good, which is bad? Is the second example good? Yes? Second example is good and the first example is bad. Similarly, avoiding unpleasant things. I don't want to sit near the AC. I don't want to sit in the sun, right? I don't want to sit in the front row. A lot of us in school, that's what we do, right? We always sit in the back rows. So I don't want to sit because the teacher might ask me questions. So all those you want to avoid. So there are situations you dislike, there are situations you like. Both, when they are contributing to this, then it is bad, right? Then it causes stress. And then same thing, neutral. Neutral again, a lot of people, you know what? How many of you think introverts, being an introvert is good and being an extrovert is bad? Is being an introvert good? Do you think an introvert's mind is silent? No. So in fact, introverts have a lot of things packed in their brain. Only thing is, they are not expressive, right? That causes more harm to them than the extrovert. Extroverts express it, angry, whatever it is, let other people feel whatever they want. But introverts have a deep sense of ego, right? Because they don't act because they feel someone else will damage their identity. Again, fight or flight. It doesn't need to be a lion. It can be someone just, hey, Sai, how come you did not do that? That means I feel very bad. That, oh my God, I should have done that. Or how can he tell me I didn't do that because I was doing a lot of hard work, right? And now people will feel Sai doesn't know anything. And so all those things are what happens in introvert, and what happens, he keeps silent. Next time he will not even go and help somebody, right? So he thinks, and people will think, oh, he's so silent. He doesn't do any harm, right? Which is fine, but the person is doing harm to himself, right? So neutral, good and bad, everything is equally bad because it causes craving, it causes attachment, right? Can you be angry and not feel bad? Can you be angry and not feel good? When you are angry, what happens? Are you feeling good or bad? Good? Bad? Sure? Then why do you feel angry? Now, most of the time when you feel angry, after that, you know what happens? Immediately at that moment, you feel good, right? You feel good. I scolded that guy, right? I at least vented my feeling, right? And then later on, you might, depending on the consequences, you might feel bad. Oh my God, I shouldn't have done that. So there's both good and bad involved in there, right? But a lot of people, I mean, I'm seeing Patriji as well, a lot of masters. People think that if you are an enlightened, awakened person, you're not supposed to be angry. You're not supposed to take extreme sides, right? But they still do. In fact, one common question in meditation, once you reach an equanimate state, right? A lot of people say, oh, now I don't feel like doing anything. I'm happy with my blissful state, right? I don't want to accumulate karma. And then immediately people say, oh, then there's lack of motivation, right? So what is the lack of motivation? Why do you not feel doing it? And then one other thing is, we keep talking about this emotion, right? Someone is doing something bad on the work. Can I tell that person, hey, you are doing bad, or am I causing karma? Right? So the idea there is you need to be angry when you are supposed to be angry. That's your duty. That each of us has a role to perform, right? In that duty, we have to function. If someone is doing bad at work, you will have to kind of give him the right thing, right? But then it is not about this. You don't feel bad or you don't feel good about scolding, right? So all that comes from a foundation of equanimity. There is no emotion attached to it. There is no color attached to it. So it doesn't affect me physiologically or mentally, right? You are in that state where if a kid is not doing things right, if someone is not doing things right, you need to tell them, yes, you need to act the way you're supposed to, but you don't take it to heart, right? And as they say, heart is basically about electromagnetic waves, right? That's what attracts energy, and brain is more electrical. So heart is magnetic and the brain is more electrical, right? So you don't impact your physiology, you don't impact your mental state, right? So the idea here is it's all matters to feeling, whether you're feeling good, bad, or neutral. So the exercise that you need to do as you go along these 7 days is, as you keep getting thoughts, observe your thoughts. As you feel getting emotions, be mindful of your emotions, right? And then, am I feeling good? Am I feeling bad? So one emotion, one person might feel good. The same emotion, another person might feel bad, right? So be mindful of how you are feeling. That is what is important, right? And then each of this emotion carries a kind of an impact. When you are when you feel guilty of something, where do you feel it? Which part of your body do you feel it? Guilt is an emotion. Here, you feel guilty, right? So similarly, when you are feeling sadness is also probably here, right? When you feel you're left alone, right? When you feel left alone by your friends or by your family or anybody, right? When you feel ignored, for example, when you feel ignored, where is the emotion? Some are saying here, heart. What do you say, Isha? Okay, so chest, lungs. Okay, so yeah. So when you're feeling ignored, obviously again your breath pattern, everything changes. So every emotion has a different organ to associate with, right? When you're feeling stuck, you don't feel the energy moving across your body at all. Oh my God, you feel tired, right? So every part of your body has some energy blocks, and you're not able to feel that energy moving around. So in meditation, we figured out, what did we figure out? We figured out that meditation removes the energy blocks. And then at one stage of the meditation, you're supposed to feel the energy flow, right? And most of the energy flow is blocked because of this, thoughts, emotions, and feelings. So one exercise you need to do is, as you continue to do your 7 days, you might get various thoughts. A lot of you said, I want a break, I'm in the process of deciding what to do next, right? So give everything a break. Just look at your thought pattern. Just look at your mind. It could be with respect to relationships, your job, your health, your what you want to do later, right? Or it could be anything of your beliefs as well. You have to examine. There's a different session on beliefs as well. So we'll examine beliefs. So a lot of this come from our beliefs. And I think Soumya will cover some of it as well. Okay, so I think that is all I had before. Okay, so this is another common aspect. You can write it down. So how do you deal with difficult emotions? It's called rain. So you recognize the emotion that you are feeling. First, you need to identify whether you're feeling good or bad, right? And then what are you feeling good? You're feeling angry, you're feeling sad, whatever. You recognize it, accept the experience and allow it to be just be. Don't resist. What did we learn? Anything you resist, persists. Right? Do not resist. Accept the experience. Allow it to be just as it is. Be mindful of it. Figure out which part of your body that particular feeling is impacting, right? And then investigate, examining what you're feeling with curiosity and kindness. Think about why you are feeling that way. Is that correct? Is that wrong? Why are you feeling that way? Why are you feeling bad about something? Why are you feeling good about something? Why are you feeling neutral about something? And then view the emotion as a passing event. That it's Buddha's teaching of impermanence, right? All emotions come and go, right? It's a wave. It's an energy wave. Emotion is energy in motion. It will come, it will go. Tomorrow it will come, it will go. So there's nothing to be hung up about it. There's nothing to be attached to that particular emotion, though it is good or bad. Anything that is good today will go away tomorrow. Anything that is bad today will go away tomorrow. So Rain, recognize, accept, investigate, and do not identify with it, non-identification. So this is what you do when you talk about mindfulness of feelings. Anytime you feel bad, think about it. Anytime you feel anxious, think about it. Anytime you feel worried, think about it, right?